Hello. This over here.
Come on, the guy who said to mute the stuff doesn't mute his stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that was Eric. So
Yeah, I saw Joe reach him.
How is everybody doing tonight?
What's up, Wayne? How are you, buddy?
We have a great group of people already in here. 30 beautiful, awesome people here to support the stream and to support our guest that's coming up. We're going to say hello to everyone and then get the party started. First, I guess, hello, Mike, Eric, Joe.
Hello.
Hello, Tway.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Going on?
Let's see here. We got the Copper Poppers in the house.
Hey.
What's up, Copper Poppers? Hi, Treasure Trail. What's going
Ambient
on?
girl said you're not Brad.
That's true. That's true. We are not Brad. We're not as good looking as Brad, and we don't find as much as Brad. That's for sure. So, but we got Treasure Trail. I saw them talking. It's 80 degrees today in California. So that's.
I am peanut butter and jealous.
Yeah. Who else is in there? Oh, Missouri Mike, who will also be on the stream
Next week.
Yeah,
next
week.
Go. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike. Texas Plug Riches is in the house. PA Relic Hunters. Nancy's in here. Monk Cheetah. I saw a bunch. Saw Ash, Delaware County Diggers. What's up?
Copper Poppers are in. What's up, Mikey?
Yeah. Wayne. Hello, Wayne. Thanks for hanging out with us. Mark. Ezra was in here. We have a whole bunch of people in here.
Yeah, squad showed up tonight.
So thanks for stopping by and watching. Hunter Fisher. Hi from Vermont. Oh, okay. Got some Vermont natives up there. That's good. Doug's in there. Rolf's in there. Sheila. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing great. I know we're all excited about our new guest tonight. His channel is very popular, and he finds some amazing stuff. And the way that he does it, we all admire and we're a little jealous of. So we wish we were as talented. So Detecting Show with Johnny O's in here. Hello. DF Digger, hello. I say, if it's all right with you guys, you want to get the show started?
Without further ado,
the man, the myth, the legend, Brad Martin.
Hey,
Brad.
What's up, Brad? Very kind introduction.
And we feel bad for Brad because he had to hang out with us for 30 minutes prior to stream and just talk to us the entire time. So, as most of you know, that probably gets old real fast. So, but thank you, Brad, for being on the show, man.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We're excited. We're excited to have you. And, like we were talking before, it's always nice to meet new people, especially this is our first. Have we had anyone else from your state before?
No, I don't think we've had anyone else.
Yeah, so we got a new state on the board, which is nice. So, Brad, tell everyone. I'm sure everyone knows, but where are you from? What's your channel? That sort of stuff.
Well, my name is Brad. I am in Vermont, and I have a YouTube channel called Green Mountain Metal Detecting. Vermont is the Green Mountain State. So it's probably the least original name I could have possibly thought of. Everything in this state is Green Mountain something or other. But I just, I go out metal detecting anywhere I can, mostly the woods in the mountains, to these old home sites that haven't been inhabited or oftentimes visited in over 100 years, and see what I can find, see what the story is about the people who lived in these places, and the connection between them and the things that I find.
Now, we ask this pretty much for everybody that comes on, but how long have you actually been metal detecting?
Not very long. I think 2015 is when I really first started metal detecting a lot in the fall time. And then 2016, I really started carrying a camera around with me. And that was, it didn't take very long for me to get very, very interested and hooked and wanting to go every day,
Yeah. No. Yeah. I remember we talk about this too, but I remember my first find that got me hooked. It was a flat button, but it had little flowers on it. And as soon as I dug that up with the Ace 400, that's when I was truly hooked. That's for sure.
Actually, just recently, he started playing some of his original videos.
Yeah.
It's funny. His reactions are funny.
Yeah, I wish I had a camera on some of the very, very, very first trips, because I just had no idea what I was doing. I had no inkling of the things that you could find. I was praying for like a silver Washington quarter, and then you find stuff from like the 1700s, and it's like mind blown. I had no idea.
Right.
Now, some of that stuff that you found, did you even know what it was at the time? Or
No, not at all. That day,
one of the things, he was naming the coin wrong.
Yeah, constantly.
He was all excited.
Yeah, the day that I found my first large scent, it was at a place where the week before I found a whole bunch of buttons, and I was home. I didn't know what I was washing them under the water with like a toothbrush, trying to get them cleaned up. And 3 of them were, King George coppers from the 1700s. Like, I didn't know. I just thought they didn't have shanks on them, And I was like looking them up, and I didn't know. I had no idea.
Lo and behold, they're from the 1700s.
Yeah.
And we're older than the United States was. So
right.
No, that's pretty cool. And then, like you said, so you started about 6 years ago, which is really, in the grand scheme of things, we were talking about that. We had people in the chat on Monday when we were doing Maddie's live stream who were talking about hunting for 20 odd years or 30 odd years.
Right.
And do you ever look back and you're like, man, I wish I would have known about this? Like,
well,
when I was younger.
I got a metal detector for for Christmas, and I must have been 11. I was young. Mm-hmm. And Christmas, it's the worst time of year to get a metal detector because you can't use it. Right. And then I never used it, and then like my dad was a contractor, and we'd lose some stuff like off the deck, and I was like, oh, go get that metal detector. We'll try to find it. But that was it. And then years later, 6 years ago, I happened to own a home in Massachusetts that was built in 1860. And it's like, oh, I'll try this metal detector. It was an old Radio Shack bounty hunter, and I went out in the backyard, and I found, like mercury dimes and Indian head pennies. And I was like, holy smokes, this is crazy. So I went out and I bought a nicer metal detector, a Fisher. And I was hooked. That was it.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive to find some of that stuff with the bounty hunter too,
I like laid out like I pulled strings, and I went down like every square inch of that yard. I was like,
wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's dedication. You're into it at that point.
That's very meticulous. We'll grid out some areas like that too when we get out into the fields like that. Do you ever, because you do a lot of like hunting in the woods, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever try, like, how do you keep your places when you're metal detecting? Because sometimes we've done woods, but I'm just walking around.
I'm like the flight of the bumblebee all over a field.
Yeah.
Right? Even when trying to walk in a straight line.
Do you ever find yourself gridding out some of these places in the woods like that?
I typically do like a spiral. I'll start at the cellar, but oftentimes the cellars they have a lot of iron in the ground, so they're hard. But so I'll start a ways away, and I'll try to identify what the front of the building was, and I'll just kind of do these spins out. Try to spend time. You spend time where you find stuff, but it's not perfect. You're always going to miss stuff, and sometimes I'll go back to the same place, numerous times, and you find more stuff every time. And one of my favorite things is you go to a place like that, and there's a not very obvious cellar, and you're metal detecting around the cellar, and you kind of venture off, and you find a place where, maybe there was a building there that did not have a foundation, and you start like finding even more stuff. And you can't, unless you have a map from the 1700s, you're not going to know where any of that stuff is. So I usually stay around the cellar, and then I venture off and try to do some exploring, and hopefully you find something new.
Yeah. Hey, the spiraling definitely does work. I was just talking about that in our last video, actually, because I'd found a barber dime in one spot, and then I did the exact same thing you're talking about, Brad. You're like, okay, well, if you find something,
right,
stay in that area, and there's probably more stuff around it. So I spiraled, and I think it took me 2 like circles around the original spot.
And, that's loose for a spiral. You didn't get too far, huh?
Yeah. And it ended up pulling the 2-ray out. So it's like you just never know what's going to be right next to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you find a lot of like modern trash kind of thrown in with some of that stuff too, from like hunters or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I try my hardest to go to places that don't have any modern trash. You know, the places that are hard to get to are places where people don't often throw their garbage, you know.
Yeah.
But you always find, you know, shell casings and, you know, stuff from hunters, shotgun shell,
Yeah.
you know, head stamps and stuff like that. But the best places, as I'm sure you guys know, are the places where every single target is something from the period.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hold on one sec. Everybody in the chat, if you guys have questions for Brad, don't hesitate. Throw them in there too. Usually there's a bunch already in here, but
Tag at Copperheads with the question.
yeah, just throw our name in there. Throw a question out. I'm constantly looking at it, but yeah, keep throwing.
Hooper 45. Brad ain't nothing without Eddie.
I know Hooper very well. Eddie, I haven't seen Eddie since before Christmas.
Wow.
You know, with COVID and just the craziness of the holidays, and I don't know, we've been planning. He was going to come over. I still have like Christmas presents for him where he was going to come over and we were going to exchange, but our schedules don't match up.
Yeah, Johnny O said, when will Vermont thaw out for detecting? You're probably wondering the same thing.
Well, I went Friday, and I had a fairly successful day, and but there was still snow. There was plenty of snow, and it was not a very, we're not like Colorado elevations, but usually around 1,500 is where like I live.
Yeah,
and there's still snow here. So the 3,000 where I like to metal detect, it's definitely there's too much snow up there. So I went around 16, 17 Friday. And there was definitely, I was trudging through snow, but it's supposed to be like 60 the next week. So I'm optimistic pretty soon, next couple weeks.
It's melting.
There
It's melting. So, do we see anything else in here?
Quarter Hoarder just jumped in.
Oh, hi, Jason.
What's up,
How's it
Jason?
going, buddy? I hope you're doing good, man. They're out there hunting all the time.
Yeah, they
now.
got some great weather in South Jersey right now.
Yeah, so they're finding some amazing stuff. I know their last hunt, they came up with a lot of old coins and stuff. So that's good. And one thing that we were talking about before, and then Pop Can Dan brought up, he said Brad composes all music in his videos. So
Quarter Hoarder said Brad is my hero.
So we were talking about that before, but that's true, right? You compose all the music in all of your videos.
Yeah. It started out as before YouTube had like the free audio library that they have now. I really wanted to put music in my videos, and the only way of doing that, actually, not all of it was mine at the very, very beginning. A lot of those videos aren't on the channel anymore, but I think a couple of them are, where I have a recording studio. I'm sitting in my recording studio right now, and I would actually ask bands that I worked with if I could use their music in my videos, and a lot of them said yes. So a lot of my earliest videos have, just music from bands without the vocals taken out.
Yeah,
that's cool. Then as I started going on, I'm a musician myself. I started taking some music from CDs that I've made and taking the vocals out and using those as backing tracks. And, they started to be a little repetitive because there's only a few of them. And I was like, I'll just start kind of writing little, they're only like 20 seconds of music that just repeats.
Yeah.
And it was pretty quick to throw together. And then I got like 40 of them. And I was like, oh, well, it's a good little library of music now that I can use in my videos.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't heard it, you have a SoundCloud with all the tracks on there, right? It's Green Mountain Metal Detecting on SoundCloud.
I don't know, probably. My website is gmmd.us, and you can get to it from there.
You can get to it, yeah. But I was sitting there listening. I think the first time you had done a vlog, talking about making some of that music, and you were getting ready to do one of your stories where you're going out and kind of revealing some of the history or the story behind a certain spot, and you were talking about trying to make a soundtrack for that.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Holy cow, that's awesome, man!"
You get to curate the exact vibe you want to go for the
exactly.
That's phenomenal, because it's hard to place the right song for the right time in the video.
Definitely.
Well, because how many times, Mike, have I reached out to you and been like, "Hey, man, go through this and see if you can find the right vibe for the music that we're looking for and what we found." And I mean, there's so many different things out there, so it's cool you're able to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, Romano wants to know if you have any new special series planned.
Well, we're going to finish this Volta de Grau series that we started. I don't know if anybody who's watching now has been following along with that, but I'll just give you a quick recap on what that is. Eddie and I, well, Eddie mostly, has been saying since the very beginning, Brad, there's this Spanish pirate treasure hidden in the mountains of Vermont. We should go look for it. Okay, Eddie, you say so. Not this year, maybe next year.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what, I was with my buddy Mike. I don't know if anybody remembers Mike. He was from a couple of years ago. And I was like joking with him. It's like, oh, Eddie wants to look for this like Spanish pirate treasure. And he goes, oh, the one in the White Rocks? So you've heard of this too? And he's like, oh yeah, it's like it's a fairly popular myth here. I had never heard of it. So I Googled it and it's like a big thing. It's everywhere. So it's like, all right, let's do this. We're not going to find it, but I think that it's an interesting enough story where enough people before us have looked for it using dowsing, using crazy things to try to find this treasure. I think that we could tell an interesting story trying to find this treasure. And we had planned to have it done in 2020, but then, the apocalypse happened. So we didn't get it done. And we have 3 episodes written and ready to go. As soon as the snow is gone, we're going to go out and finish it up. And I don't want to make promises I can't keep, but I think that the ending is going to be something special. I think people aren't going to believe it.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Wow.
There's a hanger right there.
Yeah.
Now, Brad, how long does it take you to compose one of your videos?
One of the videos?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on if I find anything or not. If I go out and it's like an unsuccessful day, then I'll usually kind of like take B-roll, and I'll maybe sometimes do some like narration, just kind of talk and stuff. And then I'll go the next day and hope the weather's the same and kind of wear my same clothes and stuff and continue the video. And I usually don't mention that that's like 2 different days. But I try to make the most of my time out there because I don't want to have like a wasted day.
You take a shower?
Nope, none of that stuff. I leave the dirt that's on my face.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something weird about one of your videos. I knew it was missing a dirt smear right there. I knew it.
And so sometimes it takes me like 2 full days metal detecting. And a lot of that is setting up shots and taking B-roll and, the stuff that's not metal detecting. And then I'll usually take another almost full day of researching the finds, researching the history of the place and try to include as much of that as possible into the video and editing the video together. So usually if it's a good metal detecting day, usually 2 days.
Okay.
It's pretty good turnaround time.
Yeah.
So Rob Tyson put in there checking in with Mr. De Niro. So a lot of people think, I'll move him a little bit. A lot of people
look, he's laughing already.
That Joe kind of looks similar to Robbie Boy, the Rob De Niro. So we call him Joe De Niro now. That's right.
Joe De Niro.
And let's see here. Let's see. Anybody else? Moto Mining said was just going to go detecting. I was wondering if I could say something about my metal detecting channel. Christina.
Rogers, there we go.
Everyone check out Christina. She said hi, Brad, earlier too. So
hi, Christina.
Hi. What else you guys got, Joe?
So obviously, Brad, you're doing some research to get to these spots that are pretty deep in the woods. So first and foremost, do you track the steps it takes to get back pretty deep there? I mean, because you're every time it seems like you're out pretty remote spots. I always wonder. It's like that's got to be pretty deep.
No, I heavily rely on my cell phone. People often ask if I use like a GPS unit, and the iPhones are pretty good. They don't rely off cell reception for GPS tracking and stuff. So I'll just, the landowner gives me an idea of where it is, or they give me a point to go to, and then I mark a point of where my car is, and I tell my wife where I am, and just walk. And it's usually there's a road sometimes. It's not too bad. I've never gotten lost.
I'm just checking. I was checking to see whose mic
Who's
was.
Everybody's
It's
scrambling
Mike.
about the
Yeah,
echo.
it's Mike. Yeah.
No, my bad.
There, that's a little better
You're
now.
fired.
My
Yeah.
AC unit kicked on, so I wasn't sure if the heat came on. But then I was just going to ask too, you said like you do research about the stuff that you find after the fact, and how much more do you typically learn about a spot that you've already detected after you found the stuff, right? So, I mean, like, I know you found recently that birth tag thing, right? And that thing was awesome. But so obviously you do more research into that. Do you often find like an expansive amount more once you find something to drill down on?
It depends on what it is you find.
Yeah.
The birth medallion is not a great example because you have a name and a birth date, and when you have that, you can go as deep and deep and deep as you want. For example, I'm actually editing that video right now for Friday, the story about this lady, and I went as back. It's like her triple great grandfather who actually came and landed in Plymouth Rock in like 1630.
That's crazy.
And I tracked all the way down through the whole family. They all stayed in the same spot until her, and she died at 70 in Michigan, of all places. And you can find them on censuses, you can find marriage records, death certificates, birth certificates, and you can go pretty crazy with all that stuff. But typically, if you go to a cellar hole and you find a couple coppers and you find the normal stuff you find at a cellar hole, it's hard to pin down who these people were. But typically the people reach out to me, viewers reach out to me and invite me to their property to do some metal detecting. And I'll look at the property. I'll see if I can come up with a name. I'll see if the occupation is what I'm most interested in, to see who these people were and if they had anything interesting happen in their lives.
Yeah.
That's usually about as deep as I go. If I find something crazy out of place, then I will do more research. But generally it's coins and buttons and buckles and nails is the majority of what we find at these places.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say though, when you go through all the stuff that you've found and you've posted about, you do find a wide array of things. It's not just coins. It's not just buckles.
Yeah.
You find some pretty unique stuff, Yeah,
I think a lot of people find that stuff too. It's just I am not like a coin shooter. I'm not going out to try to make a video finding like 10 coins. I try to show everything that I find down to the horseshoe. Yeah. Sometimes you find like 8 horseshoes per video. You don't show them all, but one of them might be important to show depending on what the occupation of the person was. It's just, the videos that I try to make, when I started, I was just kind of making them for myself. Nobody was watching them. I was just having fun. If I do find something cool, I show my buddies and like, hey, check out this thing that I found. And they didn't care, of course. But as time went on, I find that the things that we find can be more interesting. Like a horseshoe is uninteresting unless the person who lost it was, in a cavalry in the, Civil War or something. Like that's different, and you're not going to know unless you do the research. So I try to do as much of that as I can.
That's awesome. Someone had said, what was your oldest find? So probably easiest with the coin to figure out what your oldest find is. But do you have like an oldest discovery that you've had?
I guess probably my oldest coin is a William III British halfpenny, which could be as old as 1695. I couldn't read the date on it, but it was like 1695 to 1701. So I call that my oldest coin. But really, anything that's it's hard to break into the 1600s up here in Vermont. People didn't really make it out here that early, except the natives, obviously. But and I've never actually found anything native. So if I did, that would be the oldest thing I've ever found.
And we try to find some Native American because there was plenty of activity back in
Yeah,
that time
here too.
and we just cannot. And even when they're like, yeah, people have been finding arrowheads in this field for years.
Yeah.
We can't stumble.
And we stumble through with our faces looking straight down and still
Yeah.
can't seem to find any work stone.
Hey, shout out to
hoping that-
Adventures in Dirt. Ken DK's in the house.
Well, hi
Nice.
DK.
Hey,
Hope you're
DK.
feeling good, man. I hope you're doing. I saw putting in the chat a little bit better. He's feeling better, which is good. So
Awesome.
All that shoveling he had to do, I saw.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think so. Dirt Flicker said, "What's your oldest silver coin?"
I'm not sure. It'd be a half real,
Yeah.
or a 1 real. 1730s probably. I think is probably the oldest one.
Let's see here. Perfect. I bet there's 1,600 coins in Newfoundland.
Oh yeah, all the way up there.
Yeah. And then Treasure Trail says it's hard to break into the 1800s in California. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But it happens.
Yeah.
We know some people out there that's down.
Ghost Town silver.
Drum
Oh,
Tech said, why don't you talk about making your mics?
Oh yeah.
So my day job is I make these microphones. I don't have any of them handy, but it's a long story, but about 10 years ago, I was a poor college kid, and all I wanted to do, the thing I wanted to do most in the world was record bands, and I did not have any money to record the amount of microphones I wanted to at once. So I did some research, and I figured out how to make these little microphones out of like Radio Shack parts, and I put one inside of a shotgun shell because I thought it looked cool. So they're inside of shotgun shells, and I posted it on a forum. And my inbox in like 24 hours, my inbox was absolutely full of people who wanted to buy them. And I was like, okay, again, I'm in college.
Right.
So like I make a website, or I had somebody else make me a website. And that was 10 years ago. And it's like a business now. And that's what I do most of the time during the week, is sit at my little workbench and solder together microphones inside shotgun shells. It's the most random, like gimmicky thing in the world, but like people keep ordering, so I just keep.
There's a market
them.
for it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
so they're not made with Radio Shack parts anymore, obviously, because Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, now I have like 5 or 6 different models, and anyway, that's what I do.
That's
Mostly.
a crazy story.
Pretty cool. Really
Yeah.
ties into one of your passions, right? It's like living the dream.
Did you expand from not just making them out of shotgun shells, or are they all from shotgun shells?
There's 4 of them that are in shotgun shells. One of them is in a 50 caliber Barrett shell, and
Okay.
one of them is in a 30 millimeter artillery shell. And most of them, if people are interested in music stuff, they're mostly condenser microphones, but I have a ribbon microphone as well.
Well, that's awesome. Popcan Dan said Brad takes on Bigfoot.
The hard-hitting questions.
Yeah. So I do want to ask you, not about Bigfoot, but when you're out in the woods, I've seen a couple videos where you get real quiet and you kind of look around and you hear something or something like that. Like a lot of these times you're out alone in the middle of the woods, like it gets pretty creepy out there. Yeah.
Well, do you want channel Brad's answer or real Brad's answer?
Real Brad.
We only go for the real stuff.
Real
Brad.
Brad.
You don't know. Yeah.
The
We
deep
only go for the-
I hope I don't shatter anybody's dreams here, but I on the channel play to the Bigfoot people a little bit. Because I know there's a healthy population of people who watch my videos just to look behind me. They mute it and they're looking for Bigfoot. And so I'll take some B-roll of the bent twigs and the trees that are in X's. And
Is that real? People are looking at your videos just to find
absolutely.
Bigfoot? Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
People
I never
leave whole comments with timestamps. 3 minutes and 27 seconds. There's a bent tree here. There's So anyway, I have never seen Bigfoot.
You got to have Eddie dressed up now, bud. Put him in one of your videos.
I won't spoil anything, but there's been talk of a gorilla costume.
All right.
That would be a good addition.
He bid on one on eBay, but he lost it.
There is a cap to what you'll pay for a gorilla costume.
They're expensive. I don't know if you ever looked them up. We look like Halloween time, and they're just like out of our price range. But no, there's, when I'm out in the woods, I am usually carrying a sidearm, and the worst I've ever encountered in the woods are coyotes and moose. Bears typically run away. We don't have mountain lions. We don't, it's pretty, probably people are the worst thing that I would run into out there. And I've got, $2,000 worth of equipment on my back, metal detectors and cameras and all that stuff. But no, I have no fear of Bigfoot.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's
Speaking of your backpack, I know you've been doing a lot of leathercraft and whatnot.
Yeah,
Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Leathercraft has been like a wintertime thing for me. We were talking earlier about how, this year, especially December until now, I've been locked out of metal detecting from the snow. So I've been getting more into making stuff out of leather. And just recently I bought a very nice sewing machine for leather, and I've been making stuff out of waxed canvas, and I've been making these rucksacks. I don't have any except mine, which is not down here, but it's they're basically just open top leather, like handcrafted American stuff, backpacks, rucksacks, and people have seemed to have a big interest in them because they sell out in a couple hours every time I list a bunch. So I haven't had time to make any more, but I do have like 6 rolls of leather over here waiting to be turned into rucksacks sometime.
I was watching your vlog, and I really was wondering. I was like, is that a standard sewing machine? I have to imagine you need something a little bit more powerful to punch through the leather that efficiently.
Yeah, and it's crazy that the level of sewing machine you have to get in order to sew leather. You can't just go to like Walmart and buy the Singers they have there, unfortunately. So the sewing machine was an investment that I'm hoping to be able to pay off sometime soon with these rucksacks. But it works through like 1.25 inches of leather. It's very strong.
Well, I got to say, a lot of people in the chat are interested.
I was going to say, yeah. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
The demand is high.
And what, the rucksacks? That's great.
Yeah. Popcan asked, "Is this your lucky hat, Brad?" It's in every video.
This is actually a funny story because this is my digging hat. That's why everybody's like, "Oh, you need a new hat." But I have another hat that I wear that's just like this one, except it doesn't look like this. And I have my like little uniform on because I was filming a video down here right before this. That's why this is all like set up. I don't usually do this for like live streams, but I'm filming the update on the silver medallion that I found. And so I kind of, I put on the clothes that I'm wearing in the video, and I'm doing the thing. But yeah, it's just an old, dirty, stinky, smells like bug spray hat that I wear.
Shane asks, wasn't Trey going to strip live when we hit 100 people? You know what? If you want to see a number drop faster than you've ever seen it, I will start stripping. That's for sure. No one wants to see that. That's for sure. Tom said, never change that hat, Brad. It's a classic.
It's iconic.
Wait, I got to show you something. Don't move. I'll be right back.
Go get it. All right, while he's doing that, we have to think of something real quick. So the Copper Popper said, I got the ice cube ready, Trey. Oh, God. Mike, you ready? He's a couple. Yeah, let's see. Oh.
They
exist again.
I'm stocked up, ready.
That's right. Do you have something that you like bring for good luck or anything like that you keep with you every single time?
I am the least supernatural, superstitious guy you'll ever meet. I don't really believe in anything.
You're carrying around with you at all times?
No.
Okay, yeah. Neither do we. Yeah. Well, we don't. We talked about it last time. I don't think any of us do either. So.
Although I will say, when we used to go to the one farm, Grow on the way there from my old house, I used to drive under an overpass on the highway, and it was King George Road. So every time I caught it, and while I was driving, I was like, "All right, I got a KG coming my way," but didn't work out to be true. Our
last live stream that we did, Brad, I was talking about someone really close to us, we were just talking about Mike, Joe, made me a coin ring. And I was
Yeah.
like, this guy's the nicest person in the world. He makes me this coin ring. He gives it to me. It's got to be good luck. It's got to be good luck. So I started bringing it on my hunts. Didn't find anything. And then I left it at home. Immediately found something to that. So, yeah, I'm not that superstitious either because of those things right there. So,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Brad, are you going to Digstock? Did we talk about that?
Yep. I bought 3 tickets to Digstock. I'm pretty sure Eddie and Chris are coming with me, but if they don't, there'll be 2 other guys with me. I'm sure they'll come with me. It's just it's a far off date for them to get work off and stuff. But
Charlie
Yeah, we're looking
Harley,
forward.
the Heritage Relic Hunter, said, I met Brad at Pound the Ground in Shazy. So I think maybe you guys have a picture together. I don't know. I'm not sure. Or maybe that was Paul.
Yeah.
I think it's Paul.
Yeah. So by NorCal Prospecting, cleaning up their property in Paradise that burnt down to a campfire in 2018. I got the notification when they joined and say hi. Thank you for stopping by. Metal Detecting 207 said, Brad, what was the least likely place you found a coin? Do you have like a least likely place?
I try not to go metal detecting places. I don't think I'm going to find stuff. But,
It's a good strategy.
but my yard, I guess, because my home, from talking to the older folks that live in the vicinity, said that this area was just like a hunter's field. It was like people came, like the grandfather came down and shot groundhogs down here when he was a kid, and somebody put like a development down here, and it was like 96, and everything it was very clearly landscaped, and I never expect to find anything here. And I found a couple Indian head pennies in my yard, which it didn't come from a home here. It was people hunting or whatever. And I found this crazy War of 1812 like militia button in my yard.
Whoa. That's pretty cool.
I was thinking, like, did I drop this like out of my bag coming home? But it was like deep, and it was from a long time ago. Somebody built the driveway on top of it.
Yeah.
That's
DF
cool,
Digger
though.
said, is Brad coming back to Maine to hunt? Are you ever going back to Maine?
Well, my family and I, we go to Maine twice a year, usually for vacations. One time, just the 3 of us. And then one time there's a bunch of my high school buddies. We all go together and stay in a big house. So usually once in the spring and once in the fall, I'm in Maine. And I've never really done any metal detecting besides just like, it's family time, it's friend time. So usually just like in the mornings at the beach and stuff, I'll go. But I've never really done any cellar hole hunting in Maine before. But I always say, send me an email, invite me, and the next time I'm up, I'll shoot you an email or call you, and we'll link up.
There's been a couple questions about where you hunt. So Tom asked if you ever do water hunting. Do you ever try the water hunting?
In lakes and ponds, I haven't really done much. A lot of our ponds, like, I don't want to go in because they're very like very like methane and like very like silty bottom and kind of gross. We have some like reservoirs which like have like old towns underneath, but a lot of times you'd have to do like scuba and stuff to get down there, which I don't do. And I'm always like super jealous of the guys like down south that go do like all the stream, like the like the river hunting and stuff. Because like our rivers and streams, like during like the snow melt in the river, it's like torrential. Like nothing stays in those. Like everything goes to the ocean. So I haven't really done a whole lot of water hunting here, but I'd love to. It's just there's not a lot of places to do it.
Yeah. And then the copper poppers, Mike brought up kind of what we were talking about earlier. He said, do you guys ever detect farm fields or just stick to cellar holes? Not sure if Vermont has too many fields.
Oh yeah, we have tons of like cornfields and other crops and stuff here, and I really just go where people invite me. A lot. I haven't asked for permission to go somewhere in a couple of years now. People who watch my videos reach out to me, and I have most of 2021 already kind of scheduled up going to people's houses, and people just kind of see my videos and it's cellar holes, and that's the kind of permissions that I get. But I do, this last year we did a couple fields, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like I kind of get like bored in fields. Like it's, I kind of forget where I'm at. And unless it's like corn rows or something, you go up and down the rows, it's like, I don't know. I'm just not used to it, I guess. But I have fun in anywhere I metal detect, but I prefer being like out in the woods. Just a slight hint of like I might possibly die out here just adds a little bit of excitement to the day.
Keeps you honest.
Yeah. Oh gosh, let's see here. The questions are rolling in pretty quick.
Right.
Someone else had said something about, I think Nova Scotia was in here. Have you ever been in Canada at all to dig?
I've never been further north than like York, Maine.
Yeah.
I've never been up that high.
What are the detecting laws in Vermont?
The detecting laws?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure the state and federal laws are the same everywhere in the United States. Vermont is not special in this case, but you cannot take anything or disturb anything that could be of historical value. So that's anything. You can't take antler sheds. You can't take.
Oh wow.
You can't take native points.
Mhm.
You can't take driftwood in a lot of cases. Now, people do that, and if you got caught by the Forest Service, probably wouldn't care. But if you get caught by the right guy doing that, it's a felony in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people, there's a lot of misconception about what laws are on public land in states, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal everywhere. So if anybody out there is doing that, just be aware that if you get caught by Forest Service, you might have a bad time.
True. There now, a lot of people are asking what detector to use.
I am currently using the XP Deus with the small little elliptical coil, but I have a good relationship with Garrett as well. So I have an Apex that I use occasionally, and the AT Max is one I used a lot 2 years ago. But right now, the Deus is my kind of like my new toy that I've been really liking. It's like super light and
It's so compactable.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. When
And it helped with your pinpointer the other day, right?
It did. People are like, this is such a setup. Like, this is such a commercial for XP, but like,
I didn't know it did that.
I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah, I didn't know it did it either.
Yeah. And like, I had forgotten it did that. And I spent a long time looking for my pinpointer. And then I was like, oh, yeah. And I tried it, and it was great.
It was a learning curve pretty decent for learning the Deus going from the AT Max.
I heard horror stories about the learning curve for the Deus.
Yeah.
And it was, you turn it on and you go through all of the menus, and it's a little bit daunting at first, but really they have a bunch of like pre-made programs in there. And once you kind of figure out what the parameters are that you can change, it's really not that hard. And you can kind of pick the program that you feel comfortable with the most and kind of tweak it to how you want it to be. And to be quite honest, I just made it sound and act like the AT Max. And it works, and it works great. I use the teeny little coil, and it goes plenty deep.
Yeah.
And the first few hunts, I think I missed a lot of stuff. I was struggling with it. I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do because it can go super high frequency. And I was experimenting with that, and I wasn't really finding anything, but I spent some time with it and found a good program that worked. I made my own programs, and now I love it.
Yeah, I gotta imagine that interior. I want to say coil, and I'm blanking on it, but the wires inside, at least on the, I think that's one of the most phenomenal designs, and not only the CTX and the Deus have that right now.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about the Deus. It's just the things down to like the cams for the shaft and stuff. It's like, it's crazy how well engineered it is. Everything is wireless. You don't even have to have like a unit for it. You just have to have the coil and one headphone, and it's like the full Deus experience. It's pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
Very cool, very modular.
Yeah.
I know that when I did Detectival, people that were out there in the UK, they were either using the Equinox or they were using the Deus. There was like really nothing else out there that people were using. So I think that's one that I really want to give it a try. We have a couple friends that use it, and it's just when they compact it down to this big, and
Yeah.
they're putting it in their backpack, and it really does sniff out a lot of targets. That's for sure.
Honestly, one of my favorite things about it is you can actually change the note for the beeps, the tones. So like I made it to be like the major scale, the da 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 da. And
that was one of the
very
questions
pleasing.
I was going to ask. Yeah, how your music background can tie into it.
That's right. I just because stock it was not a good sequence of notes, so I changed it up.
That's awesome.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Let's see. Have you done anything with the gold garnets or crystals that you found?
No, aside from like sticking them in little jars and putting them on my shelf, I haven't really done anything like that. It's so funny though. I find that stuff, and then like subscribers like reach out to me like, "Hey, I'd like to send you some garnets and crystals." I'm like, thank you very much. I'll happily take them, but they're going to go on my shelf with the rest of them. I'm like, what do I? But yeah, no, I'd love to like make jewelry, but I already have enough hobbies.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just another thing that you got to add into the list. So
Right.
I will say, so I was watching your vlog. I will say when you're making your backpack, and I think on the one that I was watching, you used a buckle that you had found, like horse tack that you had found.
Yeah.
And put it on the backpack. That's really cool.
I save all those
nice
buckles.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let's see here. Copper Popper says, Trey, let's go to England, eat blood pudding, and drink Guinness. I can do that. Let's go back. Mike and I have always talked about that.
Yeah. Oh, it's on the to-do list.
Yes, it is. Brad, have you been over there?
I have not. Yeah. I'd love to one day. I had the opportunity a couple times, but I think Jason Quarter Hoarder was part of that. There was a bunch of guys going over. Were you part of that same crowd?
What was their crew called?
The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, was he part of the Dirty Dozen, or was he part? I think he might have been. But yeah, he went over there. But no, we went to. It was kind of like a boys' trip with my dad. We went out to Detectable and the first spring Detectable and did that. It was amazing.
I was. My name was floated as an invitation for that, but it was too short notice and there was too much stuff going on here in my own life. So I didn't make it, but I would, that's one of the things too about going to a place like England and metal detecting is like, I flip out if I find something from the early 1700s. I feel like if I found something from 2000 years ago, it wouldn't even register, it'd be like, I got to like get back in short steps for it to really set in.
Charlie asked, don't you have chickens?
Wow. Don't I have chickens? Funny enough, like 3 days ago, we bought a chicken coop and we don't have chickens yet.
Charlie,
Charlie, that's weird, buddy.
What are you doing?
How did you know that, Charlie?
I posted an Instagram story when we bought the chicken coop. That must be where that came from. But we don't have this weekend. We're getting the chickens.
I'm a little scared right now.
Treasure Trail. I flip out when I find Lincoln pennies. Hey, you guys have found some pretty cool stuff out there in California. Let's see here. Copper Puzzers. I die detecting 10 to 12 days in a row. Hey, you got to do that, man.
Delaware County Diggers had a question. Garden Diamond Mine or something like that.
Oh, I did see that. Oh, right here. If you're going to Herkmeyer again, there's another mine down the road. Let me know and I'll join it if you like.
Cool. Yeah. The ace of, is that what it's called? Ace of Diamonds, something like that. There's another mine, like literally like the next building down. I actually went there when I was a kid and found a bunch of them. But I've heard that the place to find them is not at the mines. You like have to link up with folks who own private property and you can find them like baseball sized. And I guess I got some invitations and hopefully this next year we'll go find some exciting ones. The ones we found were like this big, but we were still excited about it.
How do you balance it out? Doing, picking a weekend that you want to go detecting versus, going for, whether it be, points or diamond mines, gold panning. How do you balance it?
And how do you stay married?
How do I stay married? Well, the trick is to make it a job, and then I can say, well, I got to go to work.
Oh, yeah, you poor soul, Brad. You poor soul.
I got to try that line.
Yeah.
But no, I do it during the work week when she's at work and my boy is at school. So it's like kind of like a job, and I can go spend the whole day or multiple days going doing this stuff, making videos. But really, those things, like the things that are more exciting when there's like another person with me, I just wait for days that those guys are free, like Chris and Eddie and any other guys that I might bring with me. And those guys are workaholics. Like I said, I haven't seen Eddie since before Christmas because he's been working so much.
Yeah. Let's see here. I did get a couple more. Copper Poppers asked, we talked a little bit about arrowhead hunting and Native American, but do you ever bottle dig as well?
Yeah, I've never actually gone specifically spending the day looking for arrowheads, but I have done that for bottles a few years ago, not recently. Well, I take that back. I did go once last year looking specifically for bottles, and I didn't find any, so there's no video for that day. Well, there's lots of broken ones, but I didn't find any whole ones that would make an interesting video. But yeah, several years ago, I found one of these large properties that I have kind of like this ongoing permission for. I found a fairly large turn of the century, like early 1900s bottle dump. Everything dumped. Everything was in there. And I there's a couple of videos on the channel early on finding, they're not worth anything, but if you find a bottle that's complete and has like words on it, I get excited about it. So there's a couple of those, but I haven't been in many years. People always say, like, these Colonial sites I'm on, like you're not looking for like the privy, or you're not looking for any of that stuff. And I'm looking for metal at that point. Maybe one of these days I'll go back with like the probe and look for these privies, but not yet.
It's a lot to carry through the woods anyway. Big probe.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Patrick asked, "What's the elevation on the mountains you climb?" I always feel like they would be they would med flight me out of there. They do seem, some of the places do seem pretty steep.
Yeah, some of them are steep, but really the elevation that I was saying earlier is not like crazy. It's usually 3,000, 3,500 is about as high. I'm not climbing 0 to 3,500, of course,
Yeah.
But they're not like, I don't need oxygen up there or anything. But usually, I have my little pedometer on my phone, and usually it's like 100 flight of stairs or something, and 20,000 steps or something per day. Now, it's not crazy, but
have you ever gotten like completely turned around or lost? Maybe your phone like died or something? Because I know you had to get picked up, at least once.
Just recently you got to get picked up.
So have you ever gotten just completely lost?
Eddie's dad had to come bail us out that day, unfortunately. It's funny. I didn't add this in the vlog, but I'll tell the full story of that day when we went looking for the tri-point marker. And we were hiking. We went and found the snow hole first. Well, accidentally we found it first. And as we were walking there, we actually walked past a couple with a dog, a woman and a man with a dog. We said hello or whatever, and we went to the snow hole. And then we decided to walk towards the tri-point, like bushwhacking down all these logging trails. And then we get to the tri-point, and we're sitting there and we're humming and hawing, talking about like, God, we really don't want to walk back up that hill again. And that same couple with the dog show up at the tri-point marker. We're like, how did you get here? And they're like, well, how did you get here? And we're like, oh, well, we went from the snow hole down the mountain to others. And they're like, are you crazy? They're like, no, we drove here. Like, we walked back to our car from the snow hole, drove like whatever, half an hour around the mountain, and then hiked a half an hour in to the tri-point marker. We're like, we should have done that, And we're like, can you tell us how to get out of here? And they're like, oh yeah, if you follow this trail and this trail and this trail, you'll get to the road. And that's what we did. We walked out and we called Eddie's dad, and he came and got us. But one time, usually I'm hiking in on a trail or a road, and it's hard to get lost because you just hike it back out again. But one time specifically, I hiked a road to a cellar, and then I bushwhacked through no trail to a second cellar that was not a cellar. It ended up being just a like a logging pit, which is why there was no road to it. And then I got there and it's like, I guess I'll go back. And then I hiked back and my phone died. And I have a battery bank that was also dead. So my phone died and there was overcast. I couldn't see which way northeast southwest was. luckily I carry an actual compass, and I don't know if anybody knows anything about, navigating by compass, but you have to know where you came from in order for that thing to help. You know what I mean? You have to know that you walked in going north in order to walk back out. But luckily I did. I knew that I was walking east to this logging cellar, and I was able to use this little compass to get back. I found a road, not the right road first, but then I was able to get back to where I was going. But that was, you can't panic. You can't I feel like I would be okay if I had to spend the night out there and stuff. It wasn't like I was in the middle of, the Pacific Northwest or anything, but and it's hard to get lost in Vermont because you can just walk down and, you find some water, and then you walk out and you find town and stuff. But, I was walking around in circles for about 45 minutes before I found my way.
Oh,
That's funny. Question was asked to use LIDAR.
Oh, is it even? Can you even bring that word up?
No.
In the social media aspect, because usually people hate when you give away the secret LIDAR word. So, do you use it?
I don't talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's what I said. So,
no. What I'll say about LIDAR is, I've been using it since the beginning. I had it before it was publicly available because a state archaeologist liked me and gave me the files. I think it's too powerful of a tool for folks who order a metal detector off Amazon and don't know the rules. It's very easy to wander off in a place you're not supposed to be by looking at a LIDAR map. And clearly they didn't do any historical research on it because they're just using the LIDAR, and they don't know what they're digging up and where does that stuff go. It's, it's going to go in a shoebox, and then 50 years from now they'll die, and their grandchildren will throw it away, and it's gone forever. So that's my long-winded answer on why I don't talk about LIDAR.
That's fair.
That's fair.
And that's
great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. I did see. Let's see. There were some other.
I don't know, but while we're looking for some stuff, Brad, you keep a compass on you. You keep a sidearm. What's your go-to packing list? Obviously, you got your camera and gear. Is there anything else that you keep, on you from either a safety perspective or just something you like to have with you at all times?
Usually, if Eddie's with me, he's got all that stuff, so I don't have to worry about it. But if it's by myself, let's see if I go through it real quick. In the bag, I've got the metal detecting stuff, like the toothbrush and the water and the carriers for all the stuff, and a jeweler's loop. But as far as for survival stuff, I have a lighter, I have the compass, I have a space blanket and emergency poncho, and if it's cold outside, I'll have hot hands, and if it's warm outside, I'll have bug spray, and I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
It's very simple. If I have to spend the night out there, I think I'll be not comfortable, but I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I bring water, but people are always commenting, bro, you should eat something. I don't. I only eat one meal a day. I only eat dinner, so I don't bring food with me usually, or snacks or anything. So I'm usually I pack very light.
Well, you're a cheap date then. Dang, only one meal a day. That's nice. Breakfast, lunch, you're good. So, I did see. So Mike had asked, any new beats coming up? Are you constantly working on new songs or anything like that? Or
I haven't written a new song for videos probably since last spring.
Yeah.
I've got too much stuff going on. Me and Chris are writing an entire album right now. We're 5 songs in, and it's like a metal album. The vast majority of the people who watch my videos are not going to like this music, but it's what he and I have always played together, and that has taken a little bit of a hiatus because his job is demanding, and I've got too much stuff going on. But no new. People have been asking about volume 2 of my little background music CDs that I sell on my website, and it's about half done, but I just haven't had time. I only have so much time during a day, during the week, and in the wintertime I've been going full blast on the leather stuff, so I haven't had really any creative energy to write any music.
Please
The
tell me
banana
your
holster is being brought up in the chat.
what?
The banana holster.
Oh.
Yeah, Eddie's bananas. Eddie has a lot of little Eddieisms. Bananas one of them.
Please tell me the album that you guys are working on, though. The lyrics do incorporate metal detecting and stuff.
Not at all. No.
A metal detecting album, that would be pretty good. You ever bring a sifter to any of the cellar holes?
I've never brought a sifter. No. It's probably a good idea. A lot of times you dig something up, let's dig a target up. And then as you do that, you find, like ceramic buttons or glass buttons or, pieces of whatever that's not metal. And you could probably find a lot of cool stuff that way. But I've never, it's just one more thing I got to carry out there. Maybe one day. It's a good idea.
It sounds funny. What was your learning curve for your drone? I know Eddie flew into a tree with one of your videos.
Eddie's never flown my drone. I flew it into a tree multiple times. The learning curve was, you start slow and you start low to the ground and don't fly it in wind ever. And it's pretty easy after that. I don't fly the drone to fly the drone. I fly the drone to try to get shots, and then I bring it right back down again. I fly in very short increments. I'll send it up to get a shot that I know is there, and I'll get it, and then I'll bring it back and I'll put it away. The one time that I did wrap it around a tree, me and Chris were in a farm field actually, and we were detecting, and you can set scenes where you say, okay, go. And it does a spiral around you or whatever, and it stays locked on you, and it's a cool shot. We're all right, let's pretend we're metal detecting, and we'll send up the drone, and it gets a shot of us metal detecting. And I didn't pay attention, and it spiraled into the tree, and then I had to climb the tree to get it out. And
Oh, God.
one time in the last, I got it a year ago, or about this time of year. So one time in a year is not bad.
What drone do you use?
It's a Mavic Mini.
Oh.
But I don't think they make those anymore. They have something else to take its place. But it's
maybe the Air. I think I have the Air, maybe Air.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So they're awesome.
To
get some of those shots, Mike also put in there. Do you ever get tired with your B-roll? Walking somewhere, taking the B-roll, walking by, getting the camera, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned this. I alluded to this earlier in this stream, but I mentioned, I went detecting on Friday, and I had a pretty good day. I found some interesting things I'm excited to share with everybody, but I didn't film any B-roll. So now, the next sunny day where there's still snow, I have to go up and film some B-roll for that day, and some days it was a slow day, and if I didn't just metal detect all day and not film B-roll, I wouldn't have enough stuff to make an interesting video. So I just that decision of, do I want interesting stuff on metal detecting, or do I want trees and stuff? So I probably Friday I'll go up and shoot some B-roll and bring a metal detector just in case. But it's going to happen on 2 different days for this video.
Cool. Well, I'll make sure to point out every difference in shadow. And it looks like a different degree that day. Hey, Seth, what's going on, man?
What's up, Seth?
We will see Seth soon.
So, Brad, how is the tick situation when you're hunting in the woods? Have you ever gotten Lyme's disease or anything like that?
I have never had Lyme disease, I don't think. My mom and uncle and a couple aunts have all had Lyme disease, and people are petrified of Lyme disease, and I understand a lot of people have had really bad times with it. But everybody I personally know that have had it, they get the medication and it goes away. Yeah. I will go out metal detecting in the summer. Usually it's the late spring. It's the worst. And I'll come home. I'll have 2 or 3 ticks on me. You just take them off. You take a shower, get them off, and then you don't have to worry about it. The times that all of those folks got Lyme disease is when they did not spend the entire day metal detecting in the woods. They were just it came in on their cap, and they didn't think to check themselves and take the ticks off them. and that's how they got it. But me, I'm conscious. I go out. I know I'm going to have ticks on me when I come home. Take a shower, get them off me, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Plus, if you never get tested for it, you can never have it, right? That's
right. I will say though, I've told this story a couple times. It was my second year metal detecting. I was up in the mountains. I came home and I got very sick. I had an incredible fever. I was super, super achy. And I thought I had Lyme disease. So this is the only time I've ever gone to the emergency room. And I said, I think I have Lyme disease. I had some ticks on me and I have this crazy fever. And it's a kind of a long story. They feel like, oh, well, it's probably not a brain tumor. And it's like, all right, I have a brain tumor.
We'll check that one off.
Yeah, okay.
And they gave me a spinal tap. They thought maybe I had meningitis, which was not the best thing in the world. And it turns out I had West Nile virus from a mosquito.
Wow.
And my doctor was like, oh, young people usually survive. You'd be all right. And but yeah, no, that was the worst. Mosquitoes.
That's wild.
Jeez Louise. Tom brought up, have you ever found something tremendous in that you would consider your most historic find? Is there something on the list for you?
Most historic? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, it really depends on the era, I guess. The 53, the picture that you guys used for the thumbnail for this video, that officer's belt plate, sword plate, is probably the most, the most valuable thing historically I've ever found. But USA button that I found is pretty great. The Continental Army button there. This silver pendant that I just most recently found. Maybe I'm just most excited about it because I'm like editing the kind of recap video on it right now. But just being able to know this person's name and birth date and find her grave and do all this extra research on her is pretty. I've never been able to do that much research on a single person before. It's really exciting.
It's very cool.
That's so cool to
now,
find something.
Obviously, you find a lot of history coming out of the ground, but in doing your research, what do you think? What's the coolest historical thing you've learned? What's your favorite fun fact that you've picked up while doing research?
Oh man,
favorite
fun fact.
The hard ones, Brad.
Maybe not a specific thing, but about how advanced people in the 1700s really were, because I fell into this line of thinking growing up until I started this hobby, thinking wow, those people that came over on the Mayflower and the colonists and stuff, they were like cavemen. They didn't have electricity or the internet. They didn't know what they were doing, but they had clocks. You think about how you make a clock. They were way more advanced than I gave them credit for. So just the things that they had, we take it for granted. We think, oh yeah, I know they were eating stuff with lead spoons. How smart could they be? But they had made crazy things. You think about England and stuff, what the things that they had at that point. I think just the misconception of how they were pioneers, but they had they knew what they were doing. They had
this wasn't their first rodeo,
right? They didn't come over here and have to learn how to make fire again from scratch,
right, and farm. And they tell the story of, oh, you've used the dead fish as fertilizer. With the Thanksgiving story, it's okay, but they knew how to plant crops, right?
They knew how to do that stuff.
Let's see here. Love that belt plate, Brad. Amazing find and great site research. So, one thing I will ask is, let's see if I can get this up here. Do you still wear these, Brad?
I do.
Do you? Do you like them out there? Because we all wear boots, and I was just complaining not too long ago that if I have a certain sensitivity on and I'm swinging too close to my boot on a certain pair, it's getting the eye rivets, and it I hate it. I hate it too. Yeah. So
I get so much flack on those shoes. It's crazy.
But they gotta be comfy, right?
Are those toe shoes? Unsubscribe.
Yeah, because that's the final nail in the coffin, right?
They're not toe shoes. They're not Vibram.
Yeah.
Vibrams are too expensive. I don't even know what the brand is, but the toes are not isolated. They're not like like gloves.
Right.
They're if you search for, what are they called? Like hiking moccasins is what they are.
Oh, really?
I looked at the Vibrams, not the 5 fingers, but like they have hiking, or like, what do they call them? Like all-terrain running shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's just like no sole on them. And that's what I want. There's no metal in them. There's no sole. Like, I like to be able to, this is like super crunchy sounding, but I like to be able to like feel the ground underneath my feet.
Yeah.
You can wear big boots, but they're heavy. If you're going to walk around all day up a mountain, they're going to, I don't wear them when there's a foot of snow outside. I don't wear them when it's cold, but they're comfortable. And again, there's no metal in them. And, it feels like you're barefoot, which is what I like.
One thing I did not know is there's such a following in the metal detecting world for Crocs. There's a lot of Croc wearers out there.
You know who's an avid Croc wearer is Eddie. He won't admit it, but he is all about the Crocs.
Is he in sport mode or leisure mode most of the time?
I don't want to speak for him. I think that he wears it just all the time.
No, and we put this on the thumbnail, but can you give us a little background with the plate, with the 53 on it, and I'll share it so everybody can see what we were talking about. And
yes, so the 53 belt plate. I'll give the full story because it was kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah.
So I found it. I'm in the woods. I found it, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, it's got a 53 on it. And I edited it, embarrassingly. I edited out of the video. Oh, it's probably not military because it's got all these flowers and stuff on it. I edited that out because it most certainly is military. It's a British officer's plate. And I get back to my car and I send that picture to my buddy Chris. And I say, hey, can you just look this up real quick? Like, I don't know what this is. And I drive home. It was like an hour drive home. And he responds. He's like, no, I can't find anything on it. I was like, oh, that's weird. And so I post that picture on Instagram right here. And I get a direct message on Instagram. Somebody offers me $10,000 for it.
Wow.
What?
And I don't know what it is.
Right.
Like I'm not even home yet.
Sold.
I'm not even home yet.
And I'm like, all right, no, thank you, but no, thank you. Like I have to figure out what this thing is first. And at that point, people are messaging me. Like, it's just on Instagram. I don't have a huge following on Instagram, but people are messaging me. People are emailing me. And I'm just like, all right, people are telling me what it is. I'm like, all right, I know now what it is. I call a guy who is very knowledgeable in this stuff. And he's like, you've got something very special and you should not sell it and just hang on to it and, talk to some other people who may have found them in the past. So that's what I did. I searched out, and it seems like there's only ever been 3 of them in existence that have been found. Wow. And I found another guy who found one, and his was only half, and he sold his for a lot of money. And I was like, this is, it's a British officer's sword plate. So the guy came from England to fight Americans. They weren't Americans at that point, but you know what I mean? And his belt plate wound up in a cellar hole. So there's 2 possibilities. I was not able to find any information on the inhabitants of this cellar. It's possible, I've learned, that British officers after the revolution, it seems unbelievable, a lot of them ended up living here. They bought property and they just lived here.
It's a long ride home.
Right.
Yeah.
So
especially after you lose. So.
Right. So it's possible that this was his home. But at that same property, I found, you can see there's a spur and there's a broken shoe buckle. And I also found a repaired shoe buckle. And I found enough things that I thought maybe it was a silversmith or like a repair shop, because on the back of that buckle, the tab is broken off. It was an old break. And I'm almost wondering that this was a repair shop. I found a lot of coins there too, by the way, like 30 coppers.
Like there was something, being traded there,
Right. I'm thinking that it was there to be repaired. It got put on a back shelf or whatever, and it found its way into the ground in the footprint of the cellar. Wow. So anyway, the short story of this is I felt obligated to tell the landowner, like, this is what this is, and this is what people have been sending me emails offering for it. And he's a farmer, he didn't have much, and that was a lot of money to him. And so I would have loved to buy him out and say, look, this is what it's worth. Here's half. And I would love to hang this on my wall. But he made the decision that we should sell it and split it. So that's what we did. That's the only thing I've ever sold. And I would have loved to keep it, but I got a video of me finding it, and I got a picture of me holding it, and I've got the picture on my wall. It's kind of weird putting a picture of yourself on the wall, but
it's something like that. It's worth it. Yeah.
So that's the only thing I've ever sold.
Brad says, I put it right above the bed. So but
one of the main reasons I got rid of it is, as we were talking about before, people were calling my house like, hey, you got that buckle?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I got to get this out of my house. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's crazy.
It's too there's too much notoriety on this thing now that the video got posted.
And you can't say that a lot of people would have gone back and offered this back up to the, homeowner. Listen, that's a conundrum that comes up a lot in our discussions, because when we go, and I've seen it a lot of people asking, even in this stream, when we go and people say, hey, I want what you find. How often does that happen for you?
Well, I'm a different situation, I think, because my goal is to make videos.
Right.
That's my main purpose. And that I always offer everything. I say, you know what, you can have anything I find. I just want to be able to make a video doing this. Mm-hmm. Now, probably 70% of the time they say, what do I want with that stuff? Yeah. You know what I mean? If you find a pot of gold coins,
right,
they'll probably want that. But generally it's buttons and buckles and old unidentifiable coppers, and they don't care. So I take that stuff home.
Yeah.
But the way that I'm able to get to as many places as I get is I just say, let me come over and I'll show the beauty of your property, and I'll, you can have anything I find. But like I said, most times they don't want it. They're like, they look at the stuff and like, oh, no, thanks.
Yeah. Is that a pile of dirt?
Yeah, right.
You're okay.
Or they'll take a couple things, and it's like, maybe I'm alone in this, but the more you do the hobby, like you get a pile of stuff and you say to yourself at the end of the day, like, do I really need another large cent like on my shelf? Like I've got a lot of them. It's not really going to add anything to the collection.
So many matrons that you could hold on to.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we're pretty similar thinking. Like, again, obviously it's not our main job, but we love to make videos and we love to, document what we find and stuff like that. So like, even I know when Mike and I have done a couple of hunts where it's just like a house permission or stuff like that, we're very transparent and we show them everything. And if they want something, or, if it's something of our first and like something that we might value to ourselves, we're like, maybe if it's something like that, we'll ask to keep it. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there that, want to make sure that, everything isn't found or kept by the homeowner. And we just did a 1700s home, and they said everybody that's ever metal detected never found anything. And I'm like,
and this is like a picturesque 1700s home, like a massive one that had been added onto multiple old farm buildings. Like,
right.
There was something.
Yeah. So, but you know what? And again, we show everything that we find. And for the most part, like you said, it doesn't mean anything to them either. So it's just like, take what you want. And then there are some times where we end up donating it back to the household or the church that we did or whatever it may be. So
that's going to be the barrier between detecting or not. Why not just give it up?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, let's see here, Charlie. My area, they just care about corn per acre, not coins per acre. That's true. There are a lot of fields out there.
You know, I've definitely metal detected properties where they say, go ahead. Like, I don't care. I don't even want to see you again. Just like, go ahead and metal detect, and if whatever you find, keep it. And then I've got head landowners who are like, can I come? Can I yeah, I'll bring an extra metal detector and you can come along. And they're like right with you. Everything you find, they come right over and they look, and they're like very interested in the history of their land. Now, maybe that's because their ancestors lived there for 200 years. Like, if that was me, I would absolutely want that stuff.
Oh, heck
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they are like, they bought it to grow corn, like, yeah, go ahead. It just depends.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually enjoy it because we bring a backup metal detector when we go too, if we're looking for new permissions. I enjoy it when they come and find things with us.
Right.
The last person to do that ended up actually finding a revolver in his front yard. And he thought it was, and we thought it was awesome because I've never even found an actual revolver. But he found it in his front yard. He was so pumped up about it. And you know what? I mean, it was fun to have him out there doing it with us. So
yeah. It's a crazy ask to say, hey, can I dig holes in your yard and take everything I find?
Yeah.
It's wild.
But obviously people say yes. And if they let you take the stuff home, that's a bonus.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sure they don't even expect anything, especially where you're hunting. Like, you're out in the middle of the woods, probably some of those permissions you got, they're probably not expecting anything to come out of the ground. Let alone
well, I try to be very honest and say, look, this is what I'm hoping to be there, and a lot of times too, I get emails asking me to go to places, and I look on the map and be like, thank you, but no thank you. I don't think I'm going to find anything there. There's no cellar, oh, I've got some stone walls on my land. Like, you could probably find some stuff there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to spend a whole day there and make an interesting video. So thank you, but no thank you. It's just, you've got to do the research before you go.
And that's when the horde of large scents come out.
Probably, right?
Yeah. Well, we are way over our hour of planned live streaming. I hope you didn't mind. The question just kept coming in, but I mean, it's been fun, so I don't want to keep you too long. I don't see any more questions that are coming through. Did you guys see any more that I missed?
No, looks like we were pretty comprehensive.
Perfect. Okay, well, you guys got 22 extra minutes of pure Brad content, so people pay big money for that stuff.
I charge by the minute, so you guys will be expecting an invoice.
And we still have 128 amazing people in here. And Tall Tile Guy said, I do very well along stone walls. Yeah. They have, that's one thing I drool over when we go up to Connecticut, and that's all you see is thousands and thousands of miles of stone walls. They had to drop something while they were working on those. And so Bob says, thanks, Brad. I look forward to, and then that's it. But I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that he's looking forward to. So that's it. So
yeah, if I can say, just as a couple plugs.
Please, shout it out.
Friday is going to be the video on Anna, the lady who that little pendant belonged to. If anybody is keeping up with my videos. And I'm excited about it. I've spent more time on this video than maybe any other singular video ever. So I'm excited about sharing this one. And the DeGrau series that it seemingly stopped in the fall time. It ended with a guy emailing saying he knows where the treasure is, and he's going to tell us where it is. And we talked with him. We had an interview with him, Skype, of course. And we're going to go, we haven't been there yet. So we're going to very soon, as soon as the snow is gone, we're going to go to this place where he described and see if that's where the treasure is. And that's coming up soon.
Dang, that's a lot of self-restraint to say, I know where the treasure is. I just haven't found it
yet. Anything else you want to shout out? I know we had already kind of talked about your website a little bit, but you have some stuff on there. I mean,
Yeah, so the gmmd.us website, people get confused because it's not a .com site, but it's US, and it has everything I've found on there. There's like pictures of everything I found. The music for the videos is on there that you can listen to for free, or you can buy if you really want to listen to it in your car or something. The leather stuff that I make is on there when it's in stock. And I don't know what else is in there. It's just, a place to all of the stuff that is what I offer is all consolidated there. T-shirts and stickers and all that stuff.
And the indie pottery.
So there's a lady named Nicole Dacey who there's nothing in stock right now. You can see there's like, what is that, a Christmas ornament?
Yeah. A magnet.
Oh, okay. So she makes. I've given her permission to make stuff with my logo on it, and she throws everything, like ghost style with the potter's wheel, and she makes mugs usually. So she'll usually do like 30 to 35 mugs a pop, and they're like handmade, beautiful ceramic mugs. And I think she's in the process of moving right now, so there'll be another batch of those coming soon.
That's awesome. Well, very cool. Yeah, go check out his website. Definitely watch the videos that are coming out at the end of this week. I'm getting pumped up and after talking about that. So that's pretty cool. So thank you, Nick, for the $2 donation there right at the end. That's a good way to end it off. So
end the show.
Cheers and hello from Canada. Thank you so much. Thank you. Lisa, thank you for the stream. Thank you for watching and hanging out with us. It means a lot to us. It really does. Rolf said, counting down the minutes till Friday to learn about that pendant. Thank you, Dive and Detect. Awesome interview, guys. Check out our channel. Absolutely. Go check out Dive and Detect. Go support each other. Tom said, thank you, Brad. Lisa said, hello, Missouri Mike. So thank you guys, everybody, for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
We had such a good time. Brad, thank you, man. I know
Thank
you
you
usually
for
don't
having
do
me.
these, so we appreciate you coming on and
I had a blast.
talking about your passions and all of your hobbies, even your new chicken. I appreciate that. But thanks, guys. I appreciate it very much. Next week is Missouri Mike, so come hang out with us. We're going to chat a little bit more about metal detecting on Wednesday at 8 p.m. And until then, have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.